Welcome back to the Masters of M, because we don't know what M stands for, but anything M we're masters of. Today we got a cool show with none other than Forged in Crypto, so known as Nate. Welcome to the show, man.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing good, bro. And I know this is something that's been cooking in the background for a long time. I remember the first time you told me about it, I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And here we are. So it's got to be a monumental day for you and, of course, the whole team. And really excited to share this new cutting edge project with the community.
Really glad you were able to have me on. And yeah, this has been a few years in the making, a little over 3 years. So definitely has been a journey, and I'm super stoked to show people what we got going on. It's a exciting day.
Yeah, so maybe we can just start with your simplest description in one sentence. What is it? And then we can maybe play the teaser grill.
Yeah, I mean, the simplest sentence is it's basically a decentralized AWS. And no, we're not trying to compete with AWS. I'm not going to go out and say, hey, let's be Google, let's be Amazon. No, but we are decentralizing virtual servers in a sense. I mean, that's the simplest way to put it. And then we're wanting to take that decentralization in the form of a DPIN, a decentralized physical infrastructure, a actual device that people put in their homes and share in the fees that people pay to host and use those virtual servers, whether it be for nodes or validators or anything else that comes along really in the Web3 space. So
nice. Well, let's roll the trailer grill and then we'll continue from there.
Web3 in its current form fails to meet proper standards of privacy and security because it is so centralized.
The whole crypto field has challenges. This is not that decentralized.
For example, 50% of Ethereum mainnet is hosted on centralized networks. The truth is, the majority of blockchain is just Amazon data centers. So what if we, the people, did not have to rely on Web2 centralized companies for blockchain? Introducing Deep Network DPIN by NerdNode, offering decentralized infrastructure and managed services. We are taking Web3 services back from Web2. We're deploying thousands of physical hardware nodes and creating a global, decentralized peer-to-peer infrastructure. So what's in it for you? Plug and earn. With our one-click deployment, simply plug in your device and earn. Thanks to our network utility token, DEEP, now you can get a cut of worldwide hosting fees. To learn more, join us at deep.network and be part of the decentralized revolution.
No one laughs and rich like Bezos, right? I mean, if you want to know what laughing and rich is, he's the guy.
When I first saw that, I had to replay it because that laugh is hilarious, and I never saw that before. But I want to give a shout out. Manny put that together. So Manny's been helping us with a lot of the marketing, advertising, video editing, all that content you see. That's Manny from Mirandus, the former side. So yeah, he's been huge.
Awesome. Yeah, he's awesome. I'm super glad he's working with you on all this stuff. It's great. So yeah, Grill, let's pull up the pitch deck and we kind of go through the slides. And of course, Grill and I have some questions as we're going along. But first of all, I think it's a great project. I think that I have a bunch of nodes, and if I can save money and potentially even make more money by hosting other nodes or whatever, which all the stuff we'll get into, it's exciting. So yeah. You can walk us through the slides here if you want.
Yeah, I mean, we can go slide, then it becomes like a pitch deck. But, going off what you said is, a lot of people, that's where it started, right? It started with me owning nodes and me running them myself in my house. And I need to find a picture of what that looked like because it was hilarious. And it started the thought process, though. And, move forward, I bought more nodes. And then I had a month. This was early on in 2020 with Gala nodes. And I had a whole month where they went down and I wasn't getting much help from Gala on how to get them up. Like nobody was giving me anything. And Doc reached out to me and said, hey, I'll run for you. And I was like, okay. And so he stood them up, ran them for me. And that's what he did. He had a few clients that he was doing that for. And, as we know, Doc got hired. I reached out to him and said, hey, I'll I'll buy your clients from you and I'll set it up and get it going. I kind of like this concept. I kind of want to do more of what my vision was what we're currently doing now is I want to create this decentralized infrastructure. And he didn't want to sell it. He's like, but now he's like, I'll just refer stuff over to you. So a bunch of them came over. And anyways, like that's kind of the genesis of where this idea of, I needed help hosting nodes. And that's where NerdNode came into play. And we started hosting nodes for people. And then we started conversations on, we were a centralized company. We weren't decentralizing ourselves, but we're doing all this Web3 hosting. And it's a big thing in Web3 is why are we decentralized? In that clip you saw, Amazon 50% of, or Ethereum, 50% of Ethereum is hosted on some centralized server somewhere. It's not very decentralized. So the idea comes into play. Why can't we create a decentralized infrastructure for node networks, validators, and it can go on and on. We have a list of, I don't want to go too deep because then people will be like, oh, wow, you got a lot going on. So we'll just stick with the Web3 side. But, all that stuff there, it can all be hosted here. We're talking about games. All these Web3 games, with NFTD, we're working on pushing to actually put it onto a node, much like we were, told was going to happen within the Gala ecosystem. So NFTD is doing it. I know Jason Hughes is working on putting some stuff together and putting his game on there. We're talking to other game companies as well to actually migrate services that they're using to a decentralized, whether it's a web app that we can host or just a S3 bucket from you normally use for AWS or some type of storage, anything along those lines, we can do that. So that's the idea, that's the goal. And it doesn't just stop with those. I mean, NFTs are a huge one, right? Like where does your picture of your monkey go when they don't pay their Amazon bill? It's gone. It's your picture's gone. But if you put it on the game, and if you put it on this network, much like the game's living on forever, your favorite game, so can that NFT. So that's kind of the goal. It's kind of where we're going. And, we, look at stuff in the problems. You have the problems up here, right? It's expensive. When you take that infrastructure and you expand it out over many, many people, the cost goes down, which that cost gets pushed out to the consumer, which is huge. The reason we're starting with actual boxes in home and not letting people just put a software node on their own computer is really because of security. I won't go into depth with that because I'll just fumble around and not know how to say it right. But if you talk with Ben or Anthony within our Discord, they'll talk your ear off. But that's why we wanted to start with our own hardware in the homes, is because of security, because we can manage that and make sure it's secure for everybody. And then obviously decentralizing it. So
yeah, and that's a big deal, especially if governments wake up tomorrow and decide, you know what, you can't host a node on AWS. Boom. 50% of the ETH network is gone. I mean, that's
huge.
It's a risk.
Yeah, it's a big risk. And a lot of these companies that people are hosting with, if you look in their terms and conditions, it actually says you cannot host any type of blockchain or cryptocurrency, whether it's a node or a validator, with them. And yet people still use them because the costs are there. But at any moment in time, they say, you can't do this, and they shut it down. And it's, there you go. There's your network. Your network's gone.
Got it. Go to the next slide, Grill. So yeah, save money, make money, easy and safe. I like that.
Yeah. We're trying to make it as simple as possible. Everything, like with NerdNode, we made everything super easy for somebody. You can go to nerdnode.io and within a few clicks, actually Manny did a video and put it out, and it was like a minute and 10 seconds for him to get signed up and push nodes over to NerdNode, right? So we made it simple. We want to do the same thing with DEEP, both for the hosting side, which we do with NerdNode, that we're going to push everything that same concept onto DEEP. And I'll get into this in a little bit of like anybody can be a NerdNode on DEEP as well. But so that's simple. But then also, what are you as a hardware owner, this device owner, what are you doing? Well, it should be super easy. Plug it in to power into internet, and then you log into an account and you're done. That's it. You can manage stuff if you want to. You can keep it super simple and just let it go. But that's, and then be a part of this network and help, grow it and, secure it.
Nice. I love your tagline, by the way, plug and earn. So,
it goes with the crypto things, which, gotta try and get the people to understand, right? Plug and earn. Let's do it.
right, next slide. So yeah, I guess this is the device, 32 gigabytes of RAM. How much storage is in there?
I mean, it's right now, I'm not
right.
100% sure what we have on there, but we've partnered essentially on the Nerd Node side with Storage Chain first off. So Storage Chain has their own node that essentially we're going to look at doing a combo deal with them with DEEP, but we're also looking at stuff like IPFS to use for storage, or like Autonomy, right? They're kind of using their own storage chain type of, or IPFS storage situation. So I'm not 100%. Actually, you know what? I think I got one right in front of me. I think I might tell it right here.
It does say 1 terabyte there.
Oh, it does. Well, there you go. 1 terabyte.
Yeah. So let's talk about, so I get one of these, I plug the wall, and then how do I configure a node with it? Is there an app?
So you don't configure any node. So you plug it in.
You guys have already configured everything, and you
Correct.
guys decide which nodes go on every device, and then the owners earn. Is that
Correct.
basically it?
That's basically it. In the future, the near future, it's something that we're working on. There's going to be a marketplace essentially where people can shop around what they want to pay for to be able to have their node hosted. So a device owner can say, I want to pay up to $6 for, or I want to be paid up to $6 for a Gala node, a founder's node, and somebody like, that's too low. It needs to be X amount, $25 or $20 or 15. So there's going to be a marketplace for prices, but also SLAs within there of, I need this amount of internet, I need this amount of bandwidth, I need this amount of storage, depending on what it is. So there'll be kind of a marketplace later on where people can shop that around. And in the very beginning, it's really Nerd Node taking. We're migrating all of our workloads we currently have. So we're running thousands of nodes over different ecosystems right now that we are going to migrate onto this test net. That's our first. These 1,776 that we're selling are going to be the test net, and we're going to migrate those onto everything on there and share in that revenue that we're already creating 50-50 with those node owners. So,
got it. So essentially, if I have Gala nodes, I can't select my nodes and put it on my device. I could put it in the network and it'll get distributed, but that would be it, right?
Right. And really, you don't want to just put it on your device, because the whole reason you want this network is because we have a redundancy set in place with our software that we put in here. So if your power goes out and your device goes down, your node goes down. Well, we have it set up so if that happens, it automatically spins it back up onto a whole nother node somewhere in the ecosystem that'll continue running it. So you don't, as much as people would love to have it on their own device, they want to be on the network as a whole because of the redundancy and the security of it.
Got it. Grill, you want to ask your first question there?
Can you host multiple boxes on the same like IP or location? Or would you need multiple IPs?
You need multiple IPs right now. We are working on a clustering factor because internally right now we do cluster them with Nerd Node servers that we are currently using. We do clustering, but this is why we need the test net really to help us work that cluster situation out. So once we get these test nets out, that's one of the big things that we're working on to make sure that we can cluster, because there's a lot of people that want to buy 2, 3, 4, 5 of them and put them in their home. So
I'm interested in potentially purchasing a few myself, but I could spread them out, but
and we have
one area.
Yes. So what we're doing now is we have people that are they have the ability to host multiples because they have multiple IPs, and so we have the ability to spread those to those people with. So if you bought 5, or you wanted to have 10, and you can only host 5 of them, so you need 5 more hosted with somebody else. We have that ability to push those to other people so they can host it, and then you just share in that revenue that you get with that person. So that's an issue. That's a way to be solved for some people now. But again, like I said, we're trying to work on that clustering issue for people.
So for example, I've got 2 Wi-Fi connections in my office. I could get 2 boxes. Again, when I get the box and I want to connect it to my network, do I do that with an app?
So you're going to connect the box itself to the Ethernet and your power, and then you're going to log into your account, and you're going to have it's either a QR code that they're putting in with it, or there's going to be a password essentially that comes with your box, because we'll have your your security number that comes with this box itself that'll be already logged into your account. So that goes with your name. So
I got to connect it first directly. I got to hardwire it, and after that, can you Wi-Fi to it, or it's got to be hardwired all the time?
You're going to want it hardwired because people want that. They're going to want to get rid of the latency that Wi-Fi has in there, or potentially the uptime and downtime. So
got it.
There's also a Wi-Fi issue with connectivity a lot of times, and so when things go down, so we have the ability to. Each box comes with Wi-Fi on it. So we do have that ability, but we really want in these testnet to be plugged in, especially for testing. So, and there may be a time frame as we go through the testnet where we want people to connect it to Wi-Fi, so we can test that out and see how it goes.
You actually queued up one of my questions, which is, what is the latency like for games, for an example? Obviously, latency is a huge variable. You want the fastest ping speed possible. Have you guys tested that at all?
Yeah, that's a great one. Both with Cryptogram and with Jason Hughes, we've talked about that and what those issues can be when games are stored on here, and part of the reason why you want it set up a certain way. But to get into the details there, you're definitely going to want to talk to those guys. And I think that Ben, who is the CEO of NerdNode, he is going to be talking with Jason Hughes and about all the different nerd stuff that they've been nerding out on. We met in Austin a while back with them, and they just talked the whole time, and you get two people that are passionate about something together, and they just go to town talking about some crazy stuff, and at the end of it, they were like, this is going to be amazing. So I think they'll have a pretty good podcast you want to listen to.
Nice. Now, obviously, as the DEEP network expands globally, latency speed will be faster for people in those regions, right?
100%. I mean, this is I have lofty goals. This is the test net that we get out. And, I'd love to get this network spread to 1 million different customers across the world, but I also don't want to put out 1 million nodes right now, because nobody's going to earn, right? Because the earning potential comes through with what actual workloads are running on that network. So we're setting up in place partnerships and new node ecosystems and validators that we're bringing on board over the next few months that are going to keep expanding the network. And so as that network expands is when we will start to add more nodes. Right now, currently, NerdNode needs about 1,500, 15 to 1,550 nodes in the ecosystem to run all their workloads. So that by selling the 1,700, we're going to get pretty close to like max capacity. As we grow that, we're going to open up more. So,
got it. Next slide, Grill. You want to walk us through this?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you're just looking at the flow chart of where what everything moves through. So you got your web service owners, by hosting web services, validator, storage, etc. You can move that through to creators. You can create with that utilizing the web services. You have network hosts, just kind of moving through, and the same with the hardware manufacturers, what's coming through and just pushing. It's a flywheel effect with everything that's on there. So
nice. Next slide.
Passive income.
This is what everybody wants to know about, right?
This is the sell point. It's passive income. So, and this is a big one that really needs to be explained, because people are like, well, I just get a token for plugging it in. And yes, you do get a token for plugging it in. You're going to get the DEEP token, and it's a minting reward because you are part of this network, and you get that for actively putting your node onto the network. That's one reward, is the DEEP token. And then you have hosting rewards. So hosting rewards are what, as this network matures, are going to be the big deal that everybody's talking about, because NerdNode, like I said, they're moving all of their hosting onto the DEEP network, and they're sharing it 50-50 with that network. So that is the hosting reward that's coming through to these boxes itself. And everything that gets hosted on the DEEP network has to be paid for in DEEP. So for example, NerdNode gets paid cash dollars right now to host nodes for people across the ecosystem. They're going to take that and they're going to have to either they have DEEP because they've been running DEEP nodes, or we have to go out and buy it on the open market and then use that DEEP to pay for workloads, if that makes sense, to these DEEP owners, these node owners.
Got it.
Device owners, I should call them.
So every reward is going to be DEEP, whether it's the minting and the hosting rewards as well. That's going to be
correct.
DEEP.
Correct. Yep.
Got it. Okay. Grill, any questions on this?
Yeah. Is there some place you could buy, sell, trade DEEP tokens?
DEEP isn't even a token yet. So no.
Okay. In the future?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends, right? Ultimately for us, we are providing the platform to create DEEP. And then as it matures into, so we're going to have testnet. Testnet is essentially where people are going to see in their dashboard that they're earning a certain amount. And it's going to be a 1-to-1 ratio for that DEEP that's in your account. When mainnet launches, you will get DEEP token put into your account, into your wallet. So you're the people that own these boxes are going to be the first people that own DEEP in the entire ecosystem. So they can set up a liquidity pool. They can do what they want with it at that very beginning. There's not going to be a lot going on because we're a pretty brand new network.
Question. So first of all, obviously there's utility with the DEEP token with all the companies that want to use the network. Any other anticipated utilities down the line?
You know, we have, so my partners come from the Web2 space. Ben and Chris Corrado, they're brothers, and they've been working in the IoT device space where, they'd have clients that are looking for a certain device that's going to work for them, whatever it may be. And they would develop it both hardware, software side and help them go to market with that pushed out. So their claim to fame is they have, over 5 devices in every McDonald's across the world. So they have that kind of backing them up in developing these IoTs. So their first initial when they came in was all of the different Web2 applications that can use this decentralized network the same way we're doing this for node networks. And so we have a list of a whole bunch of different Web2 sites, but that's Web2, and that's 100 times bigger than Web3. The Web3 space itself, we have 40 new node networks that are coming on board that we're putting into the ecosystem to be able to be hosted on the DEEP network. Right now, I think we have 7 or 8 that are on NerdNode. So we're going to be pushing out a 5x the amount of actual possibilities to be hosted on here. And that's just nodes. That's not even including validators, across the board that are out there. Every day there's new ecosystems that, are coming available. And we want to be the place where people come to both to run their nodes and or work with us in tandem in a partnership and help create their node network. So that's a big one that we're working with a lot of people in terms of actually taking their node that they currently have or what they want to develop. And then what are they paying for right now with AWS? Are they using storage? Are they using Supabase for a game? Right? How do we take that, put that into a software, and then put that onto the nerd node or the DEEP network? And so we're creating this avenue for people to actually have a node that does work on a decentralized network.
Have you guys made a decision which chain you're going to use for DEEP?
So the underlying chain that runs all of the blockchain side, all of the stuff that people don't ever look at really, the tech side is going to be on the Avalanche. We're going to be using a side chain on Avalanche. So
what about the token though?
Token can be on any chain right now because the token itself doesn't have to interact with the chain that we're running all the tech on. And so we're looking at what's going to be the best chain. A lot of people want Solana because Solana's the big, happy one for this time. ETH is too expensive, and Base, some people like that because it's EVM compatible, it's cheap, it's fast, doesn't have the amount of people we want on there. It's kind of up for it. But we also have, now I have to think of what it's called, Zero Protocol, I believe. And this is something Anthony talked about in the Discord itself. So it allows for there's a protocol that we're utilizing internally that's going to make it so it doesn't matter what chain the actual token's on. It can be on any chain, and you can trade it and utilize it all across chain. So
cool. Let's hop the next slide. All right. So here we go. Walk us through this.
Yeah, I want to gain to people, because as device owners get up to 70% of hosting fees, and then while that is 100% true, this current as it's set up is 50-50, right? Because NerdNode right now is the host. It's the pool that is hosting. It's getting all of these workloads coming through NerdNode, and we're hosting on the DEEP network. So at any point in time, down as we release this, somebody else could come in and say, I have 500 of my own nodes, or I have a bunch of clients. I have 2,000 nodes that I want to host on here. I want to be my own pool. And the DEEP network will always take 30% of the fees that come through for development and everything else that's going to go on there. And then that pool can set its price that it wants to split between the hardware owners, the device owners, and that pool itself. So right now, NerdNode's taking 20%, and then 50% is going to the node network, the device network.
How did you come to the 3,400 to 11,000 a year?
So we put up different prices across the ecosystem of what it costs to run these. So this is what you could run on that device right now. You could run the validators, and that's an ETH validator, essentially, a couple different other validators that are out there as well. Gala nodes, Myria node, high chain, Zai, Presearch, smart nodes. So you could run all those nodes on this device. And if you had that going, and you can look at the price on the right-hand side of what that would be on a per year basis. And so that's a monthly price that you see on the left, what people are paying on a monthly basis right now, the range at least.
Got it. How full do you think the network's going to be when you guys launch? Like how many, again, by device, how many nodes will be running per device?
Yeah, so if we get the 1,776 sold at the testnet itself, running with it on the testnet, we're going to be about, I think, 65 to 70% full, which is kind of the max we want to be. We always want to have some fail-safe. In that sense, you can see, and we're running mainly your Gala, Myria. We run some high chain, or run some smart nodes. Presearch and Zai will be up here soon. But those are what we're normally doing. We're not doing any validators on the NerdNode network. Right.
Got it.
But they can be ran, and we will run them on the DEEP network.
Okay. Next slide. All right.
I think this is a hypothetical of what you could do on one node itself. It's showing one ETH validator, 3 Myria nodes, 10 smart nodes, Gala Founder, Music, Film, Last Expedition, Spider Tanks. Obviously, those all kind of go together on a node itself. So it'll show in this box itself, that's 5,500 a year. Running that right now, your share would be 2,790. So
solid.
Yeah, it's solid. And that honestly, with that's right there, that's that box still has room to run more stuff on it. So
nice.
Yeah.
Next slide. So this is the pipeline.
Yeah. So this is what I was talking about earlier. We have about 40 new node networks that we're adding right now. So it takes a little bit longer than us just, hey, we're going to spin it up, right? Because what we're doing on the other side is we're making it so it's a easy one-click deployment. Again, we're trying to make this so anybody can come in on the DEEP network and run their own, right? They can be a nerd node. And if I have 100 Myria nodes, I can come in, I can run my own Myria nodes, be my own pool. And if I have these devices, the device owners can choose to come to my pool and be a part of that. So these are all the ones that we're going to be adding on, and they should be added on here within 6 to 8 weeks, which is about when the nodes get delivered, which I'm sure is going to be a question here soon. I was told I should say 6 to 9 weeks, but
yeah. Always better to pad it a little bit. Next slide.
How much internet does it need? So you can see here, it says full rewards, 100 up, 20 down. So the device has a max cap of 50%. So essentially what it's what that means is it's never going to go over that 50% cap unless you change it. So in that dashboard which I told you earlier, where you'd sign up, there's going to be basically a little lever in there. They'll say, where do you want your device to be at? Because people, they go out of town, let me maximize my device earnings. So I want to push it up to 100%. So I'm going to earn even more instead of that I can normally do with a 50% bandwidth potential. So.
Got it. Now, what's your estimate on how much bandwidth the first set of nodes going to actually use?
Not much at all.
Yeah.
It's not going to be part of these first set of nodes aren't going to be much. It's when it comes down to, probably running some ETH validators, they're going to use a little more bandwidth, but still even not a ton. That's the thing about Web3 right now. Once we actually implement game ecosystems on there, and you start talking about the latency and they need more bandwidth, that's where we're going to start to see that. But also what happens at that point in time is, you're going to see people getting paid more to run those nodes because it does take more power, more internet, that kind of stuff.
Got it. Next slide. So pretty light on juice.
Yeah, this is a big question though. Like, am I going to cause a blackout in my city? Nope, you'll be fine. It's super energy efficient. Less than an incandescent light bulb. So super cheap, not much at all. So just turn off one of your lights, you'll be fine.
Exactly. Adapt to the dark. Next slide.
It's better for you anyway.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to go too deep here. You mentioned that the security experts are on the deep Discord. So, but yeah, anything you want to say here?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you come in and ask us questions of why and what. They're gonna go in depth with why we chose our hardware, why we want it plugged in a certain way. It's because of security. We want to make sure that one, we're not going to see your internet. We're not going to see your traffic that's going through. We're not going to be able to regulate your traffic. None of that stuff. So essentially, everything that you use on your end is secure, it's safe, and encrypted. That's our goal. That's why one of the reasons why it took us so long actually to get these things out to where we're at now is finding the hardware that's going to do what we want it to do in this side.
Nice. Next slide.
This is a good slide because a lot of people talk about market size, and I said in the beginning I'm not going to come out and do a bold statement like we want to take over Amazon. We're going to take over AWS. That's not a realistic goal for a startup company ever to say. So this is fair warning for anybody that, looks at something that they're eyeing. If they're like, yeah, we're going to be the next Google. Well, are you really? Probably not if history has shown anything. But what we can do is we can look at what the market size of the Web3 market, which is what we're really trying to tackle here. And it's a huge market. And, us being one of, if not the only decentralized network that's really trying to tap into that, it's a large market that we can hit and share with that network. And so these are some big numbers that people should really look at and see what the potential is there, because it is something that Web3 wants. They want to be decentralized, right? It's something that they want, and so that's what we're trying to give them.
Yeah, I was talking with Michael Wagner yesterday. I went to the Rare Evo event. We were talking about this, eventually having, for example, Star Atlas fully decentralized, so nobody can shut it down and really be beyond the reach and the grasp of governments, and basically be almost like an invisible nation, a country without borders. So
100%. I've talked to Wagner about the same thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, that's like the crypto dream, right?
Right. I know it is. And then when you pull back the curtains, is it really? In some cases,
No.
Yeah, but in a lot of cases, it's not. And so that's what we really want to help people do. Is we want to help you decentralize yourself, actually make your product Web3. Let's do it. Let's do it as a team.
So my last question is price. Of course, everybody wants to know what the cost is going to be.
Yep, the cost is $1,111 for the device. So the hardware device, and that includes the software with it. So the hardware itself, like we've posted it in the Discord, you can see the link to it. You can see how much it costs. We're not trying to hide anything. I think it's $670 for the device itself, less shipping, handling, taxes, everything else we have to pay. We're bringing in just a couple $100, and which is much to the chagrin of a lot of people internally. They want to charge a lot more, which, look, I do too, but I also want to get this testnet up, and I also want to get the community. This is why I'm talking with you. This is why I'm talking with everybody that's in our community. Is I want you guys to be a part of it. I want you to be the first one. The first people I sold to was family and friends that I knew. I was like, I put it out in my Discord. I talked to them on the phone. I said, hey, here's what we got going on. I want you guys to be a part of this beginning piece. So,
yeah, I'll be picking up a couple. There's a link on the screen, DEEP, DEEEP, so 3 E's, .network /$ mom, MOM. We'll put the link as well in the show notes and the description. Click the link. If you buy from our link, you're also going to get 1,111 DEEP tokens. Yep. So that's the incentive for you guys to use our link. Of course, we appreciate that if you do. And yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of everything you've done, Nate, and that's why you're on here. We made a decision early on. We're not going to shill stuff we don't believe in, whether it's games or been a few opportunities that have come our way that we've just passed. And yeah, I think you guys are well established. How long have you been running NerdNode now?
NerdNode officially has been a company for almost 2 years, and it's been around for a little over 3 years. So because we were running nodes for people earlier on.
And everybody I've ever talked to that uses NerdNode has nothing but praise. So
thanks.
I have no doubt that you guys will deliver on this product as much as you did with NerdNode.
I appreciate you guys having me on. This is, just being able to talk to you guys and, explain some stuff, and hope, people come into the Discord, ask questions, and, pin us down, let us know what you think.
Yeah, we'll put the link to your Discord as well for the DEEP Discord. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Gorilla, final questions?
Yeah, I just had one question that kind of tied into my earlier question. So I split time between New York and the Philippines, and I was looking actually through the website to about purchasing a unit, and I saw the Philippines was not on the list there. Could I still host here? Is there some kind of regulatory issue, or is it just not?
You could host there. You would just have to send it to your New York address and then take it with you on the plane. So right now it's the shipping VAT tax or whatever tax it is for that country. We want to be in every country there. So it just takes a lot of time. And with these the mini forums that we're using, and they're helping us with shipping, they don't have all of the countries that we want to be in. So we're working with other hardware vendors to help us kind of push out into different countries too. So we want to be in every country, and most countries will allow us. It really just comes down to the shipping into the country that makes it kind of an issue. So there's a whole lot of hoops to jump through.
Yeah, as always. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Just put it in your backpack, and that's it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I won't be back here until March, so it'd be a long time for it not to be up and running. But
well, hopefully we'll have it up before then. Like, we're actively working with all of the different, when people come through and they say, hey, I want this country, like, we're actively working to get that country on. So I'm going to put Philippines on there. Actually, I think it might already be on our list. I think somebody else asked about the Philippines too.
I'm not surprised. It's a pretty crypto-friendly place, and people are up and up on it here. So.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. All right, Nate, thank you so much. And of course, if you want to join our Discord, it is mastersofmaterium.com. Pop the link, Grill. Join our Discord. We're still in the game. We're still in the mix. We're going to be playing Miranda's when it comes out, if it ever comes out, fingers crossed. And of course, if you haven't watched our last show, we covered Mooncast, which is a new project that Jason Hughes is building. And Forge, I know that you're also involved a little bit with that project. So maybe talk a little bit how GG Collective is working. And we did ask Jason that, but it'd be good to hear from you.
Yeah. I mean, so GG Collective helped with, kind of the Bodhi launch to help fund Mooncast. We're working internally, with the ability to hire people to help develop Mooncast. So we've got some people that are being paid on that side of things. GG token holders should see a vote soon to say whether they want to be a part of Mooncast internally. That will, as soon as the token goes out, people will be able to do that. So, and then, we're actually speaking with Jason Hughes internally with DEEP as well. So about decentralizing his game, and you'll be able to hear him and Ben, our CEO, talk on this Friday.
Nice. I mean, the velocity these guys are coding at and building stuff is pretty mind-blowing.
Well, I will say this. I had lunch with McCarthy today, and so I was talking to him about Hughes, and he had the utmost, like Hughes is the top person on his list. He's like, I want Hughes's tech stack. That guy is just genius in terms of what he's doing. So like the praise that he gives with a guy that's been in the industry as long as he has, that's pretty damn good. So
definitely. Yeah, those guys, Jason and Michael were really like Axl Rose and Slash. great team.
It's a great comparison. I love it.
Yeah, hopefully they'll reunite at some point down the line, but we'll see. All right, guys, thank you so much. And again, we'll put the link in the show notes. Join our Discord and grab yourself a DEEP device. Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.